Hello and welcome to Bengaluru and this episode of Agenda on situation in Bengaluru after what was a terrible Sunday evening. Last Sunday evening was a disaster. A woman was killed by a speeding car allegedly driven by a Sudanese student. A mob went on the rampage after that, torching vehicles and indulging in violence. And about half an hour later, a totally unrelated group of African students were allegedly set upon, and a young woman, a young Tanzanian woman with them, was also assaulted and her top ripped off based on a report she gave to police. A terrible evening indeed, raising many questions about Bengaluru and its safety. Let's just take a look at an update of what the latest situation is on this.
The Tanzanian envoy here in Bengaluru to find out firsthand what happened to the 21-year-old architecture student from his country. Accompanying the envoy were several senior foreign ministry officials. As the pressure built up on the Bangalore police, 2 constables were suspended for standing around doing nothing as these scenes played out on Sunday night. An inspector suspended too for not trying to look for the Tanzanian woman who was beaten up and stripped, or her friends after the incident.
Total 9 persons have been arrested. Presence of the policemen were found there, and out of them 2 fellows have been already suspended, and the further inquiry is going on.
9 arrests have been made in the case so far. But while the Tanzanians' case is now receiving a lot of attention from the state and central government, still waiting for justice is Shabana Taj's family, the 35-year-old woman who was run down and killed by a Sudanese student on Sunday, whose death had triggered the angry mob.
एक कार आके फ्लैश लाइट का फ्लैश भी बहुत था, रैश ड्राइविंग था, स्पीड में आके पहले मेरे को मारा, मैं एक तरफ उधर पड़ गया, पीछे मेरी पत्नी आती थी, उसको मार के वो एक 50 अड़ी 60 अड़ी दूर पड़ गए, वो कार नहीं खड़ाया।
कौन भी सहारा नहीं, सब माँ बाप ही सहारा होती बच्चों को। अब हमारे आंखों से हमें देखते ही वो 2 बच्चों को ले को हमें देखते ही वो 2 बच्चों को कौन भी पूछने वाले नहीं, हमें नाना नानी रोको हमें पालते ही सो।
While everyone watches with rapt attention how the case of the Tanzanian student unfolds, Shabana Taj remains forgotten. Why do the central and state governments seem keen on providing justice to the Tanzanian student but not to Shabana and her grieving family? With camera person Nazir in Bengaluru, Mrinali Fernandez for NDTV.
Joining us on Agenda today, the family of Shabana Taj, also members of the African community here in Bengaluru, young Bangaloreans as well. First to the bereaved family and the husband of Shabana Taj, Sanaullah.
वो हम वॉकिंग जाते थे मैडम, वॉकिंग जाने के टाइम क्या हो गया, मैं आगे था, मेरे पीछे मेरी बीबी थी, वो क्या हो गया, सामने से कार आया, सोच गलत रास्ते से आके मेरे को फर्स्ट मारा, मेरे को हाथ को मार लग गया, मैं उधर गिर गया, मेरे पीछे बीबी था ना, उसको बीच में लेके मार के वो कार खड़ा है नहीं जैसा सीधा मार लेके चले गया मैडम। वो मेरा बीबी 60 अड़ी के पीछे जाके पड़ के वहाँ स्पॉट आउट हो गया, मैं भी इधर अनकाश होगा, वो भी उधर स्पॉट आउट हो गया। बाद में गांव वाले सभी मेरे खेड़े वाले पूरे लेके मेरे को सप्तगिरी हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट किया मैडम।
लोग को क्या बोलना चाहिए?
लोग को क्या बोलते, वो हेल्प किया ना, मुझे खुशी होता, मेरा थैंक्स बोलना चाहता हूँ उधर के लोग को। बहुत हेल्प किया मेरे को।
Now the mother of Shabana Taj, Shameen Taj, आपकी बेटी 2 बच्चे हैं।
2 बच्चे ही मैडम, बच्चों की जिंदगी कैसा होना मैडम। स्कूल को गए तो माँ होना रेडी करने, स्कूल का फंक्शन आया तो माँ होना रेडी करने। अब इनको कौन है मैडम देखने वाले, अब कौन ही बोलो देखने को दिक्क, माँ नहीं, हर एक बात को माँ होना, माँ नहीं से क्या काम भी होता क्या। हमारी कर्नाटक का सरकार क्या कि हम ना पूछ को देखती नहीं है, हमारी बच्ची मर गई थी तभी हम ना नहीं पूछ को देखती है, क्या कर को भी नहीं पूछते ही हम ना। हमारे घर में इतना बड़ा हंगामा चले, हमारे घर में मौता हुई है, को क्या किधर कर का संबंध नहीं पूछ रही हम ना। ये बच्चों की जिंदगी कैसा होना। शबाना ताज के अरमान बहुत थी मैडम, इसे डॉक्टर बनाना कर थी, उसे इंजीनियर बनाना कर थी मैडम, उसके अरमान कहाँ है अब।
A family in shock, a family in grief. This was a tragedy enough. After that, the bad evening continued, the terrible evening continued in Bengaluru with another car full of African students being set upon really by a mob which had gathered at the site. Joining us is Bosco Kawisi, legal advisor for the African students, Bokar Musa, Vice President of the African Students Association in India, the Bangalore chapter, and also Sagar Hassan, President of the International Students Federations in Bengaluru, and also to young Bangaloreans as well. Bosco, to you first. I mean, it's an incident which is so shocking, and also the state government saying that the attack on the young woman was more road rage than racism. How do you respond to things like this?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I'm really, really sorry for what has happened, that we lost a life. No one is happy when we lose human beings. And I do feel sorry that he left children behind. And I wish if the family could give us a chance to work with them and then see that the children, at least they get education. I mean, I'm not saying this that like to try and please anyone, and I mean it, because we are all human beings in this world. We live once, and it was unfortunate. And I personally, I'll do the best I can from my side, and I call upon the public to look at it from a different perspective, that she has left the 2 children behind. She didn't plan that she will leave the place, and it is a concern of everyone. Now, looking on the other side, the other car which was attacked, and it didn't have anything to do with the incident, that is bad. We shouldn't attack innocent people. I can understand the sentiments of the people when they attack the first car. I can understand, because even in other countries like Africa,
Not sanctionable because it's law, but
even it's not sanctioned, but we can understand that somebody went out of his mind and he was not able to control himself. But the second car, that incident shouldn't have happened.
was that racism to you?
Well, I could say personally, you see, racism is defined in many ways. If I call it racism, it doesn't mean that it's justified that it should be attacked. Even if my point of the view is not to define whether it is racism. My point of the view is this: the act itself does not fall under
Yes,
the
absolutely.
category.
Just now the Tanzanian envoy is in Bengaluru. He's actually met with officials here. He traveled with the MA officials. Let's just hear what he had to say after that meeting.
Family of the deceased and to the government of the state.
Yeah.
I am representing my colleagues from the African countries. We had a very meaningful discussion. I was taken through the entire situation which led to the accident and beyond the accident. I have a much clearer picture of what happened now. We didn't want to dwell very much into discussing issues of racism and so on and so forth, because I think you media people are very much interested in that one. No. We went into the facts of the situation. We discussed the facts, and they are very clear. And we are very much impressed by the action already being taken by the government. There are very concrete measures which have already been taken, and they are continuing to do so. But what is more important is that we should look into the future, because if you dwell very much on the past and you forget to make a clear way for the future, you'll get lost. So I think we should now focus on the future, solving the current problems, but also looking into the future. We believe that the communities can live in harmony, the local communities, the African communities, and once we achieve that stage, such incidents will not be happening in the future. Briefly, that is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much.
Do you think this is a racial attack, or what is your opinion about that?
I've said it. We have not come here to discuss issues of racism or not
Alleged
racism.
it yesterday, and the Tanzanian embassy also alleged this. So, are you ruling out today that there was no case of racism?
I'm repeating, we are looking at the current situation and the future.
Sir, are you going to meet the victim? Diplomacy, is it the truth?
Pardon?
Is it diplomacy? Are you going to meet the victims?
We are going to meet the victims. We are also going to meet the African students immediately after here, and we will talk to them.
So there are a number of African students here who study, and what would you like to tell them? Because while the Karnataka state government is looking at their safety and security, from your side, what would you like to assure them?
I want to assure them that the government has given me assurance that they are going to continue to take proper measures to make sure that they are secure. They've already started so after this incident. They have been doing so in the past, but they are strengthening their steps after this incident. But we also agreed on more sustainable measures to make sure that the security is guaranteed continuously.
So what are the facts that you're giving?
We should not focus on short-term measures. We must focus on long-term measures.
Are you happy with the action taken by the government, Bangalore police so far? And the government of India intervened in this case as soon as they heard this. So are you happy, satisfied with the fact that this inquiry was speeded up and the government intervention into this?
That is what I exactly said, that I've been very impressed because some concrete measures have already been taken. People have been suspended, those who have been found to be...
John Kikazi there, the envoy, the ambassador, High Commissioner for Tanzania in India, saying that he was satisfied largely with the state government response and that it was time to look ahead and look for long-term solutions. Have you been happy with how the state government responded? What do you feel?
First of all, I'm very, very sorry for the innocence, what happened to that lady. And what happened is happened. And we are planning to go ahead with the government and work with the family to solve this issue. And yeah, I'm happy with the government.
Are you pleased with the government response? The police have also suspended 3 people, 2 constables, 1 SHO also, because they said they just did not do enough on that day itself. So those suspensions have happened. Do you think it would have happened if there was no media pressure or pressure on social media? Are you happy with it?
Let me start again by saying sorry, even though my brothers have said it, but we all have different feelings. I know I'm standing here in front of everybody, but with the family, I know how difficult it is. Getting back to your questions, I think it is matter of time. Maybe for them they didn't get the victims on during the time when they said it. Even when we asked them previously, they said they didn't know about the incidents. But I think is at some point is maybe we push them to take care of to see the issues, go through the issues, and if they can find us a solution.
That pushing and solution finding needs to be. ಅವರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇವರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿರೋರು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಮೇಡಮ್ನವರೇ? उनको सब कैसा भी करना हो, अंदर है ना, उनको क्या करना, सामना साथ दिया ना, उनको क्या करना, उन्होंने क्या बोले?
पूरा गाँव का गाँव हॉस्पिटल के पास थे. अब ये पब्लिक अब ऐसा जाते पब्लिक मारे से गाँव वाले लग जग डालनी. अब गाँव वाले क्या करना सो.
ಇವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ದುಃಖ ಆಗಿದೆ.
सबको होता है.
हमारी बच्ची हमने 1 लाख रुपए, 1 करोड़ रुपए को लिया हमने.
We'll take a short break now and we'll come back to look at whether Bengaluru is indeed a racist city. Is it becoming so? What is the truth of that? That's after a short break.